life is still inside of me, and I made a mistake. I made a mistake. I listened to the Beatles' last song now and then, and I knew it was gonna make me sad. I knew it was gonna make me cry. I shouldn't have done it. I knew I shouldn't have done it, but I did, and here we are. A quick aside about the Beatles. The Beatles were pretty much the soundtrack to my childhood, especially when I was very, very little. It was the music that was playing since I could remember. I loved it. I loved the Beatles. They brought me great joy. They made great music. Because, you know, when you really just sit down and look at the Beatles, consider the Beatles, they really were just like a bunch of really interesting and different guys coming together to make this beautiful band that made a fuck ton of really beautiful music. And, you know, I understand the you know, how overrated they are. I understand the Beatles hater thing. I have partook in some Beatles hate myself, because I understand how overrated they are. At the end of the day, yeah, they made some really great stuff. A beautiful band that made beautiful stuff. And I definitely understand the socio-political things about why they became famous, what made them famous, which was really, you know, taking a lot of influence from black musicians of the day that were already doing stuff like that. They just, they didn't get as big because they weren't a bunch of cute white British boys. So, you know, I understand the hate, and I understand the love. And I haven't listened to the Beatles in a really long time. Like, I fell out of listening to the Beatles consistently a really long time ago. Maybe it was like 13. The last time I was like listening to the Beatles consistently. And randomly, recently, like the past 2 months, I've just been like singing Beatles songs that I know. And sometimes I'll catch myself off guard because I still know these songs by heart. And like, that just goes to show how much they're playing around me and how much I absorbed the Beatles in my youth. I was wondering what it meant yesterday. Yesterday. Love was such an easy game to play. Now I need a place to hide away. Oh, I believe in yesterday. Suddenly, I'm not half the man I used to be. There's a shadow hanging over me. Yesterday came suddenly. Why she had to go? I don't know. She wouldn't say. I said something wrong, and now I long for yesterday. Yesterday. Love was such an easy game to play. Yesterday was terrible. Yesterday was not a good day. It was a very stressful day. Now there's like hold on. There's just more personal drama being added to my life and at the moment. So yesterday it was really all compounded, and it was all very intense. It all felt very intense. That on top of like our cat might have had a stroke. So so yesterday was not great. And listening to the Beatles' last song now and then, it wasn't even just so much emotional and great to listen to in a nostalgic sense. I felt at home in a way that I haven't felt in that way, especially because it was the Beatles. The soundtrack to the more simpler time of my childhood, the more innocent and easygoing part of my childhood. So that, listening to their last song, compiled with all of these feelings that I'm having about my life and what's happening and the people in it, the care and worry that I have for these people. Basically, it was really comforting. It was really comforting to listen to the Beatles and to listen to their last song that they ever made. And the fact that it was made in such a way where it was like, John had died, so they were working off of these rough recordings that he had, and then George died, and then they had to wait like decades until the technology was available to even like put this song together. Hey! Sometimes I pull a Genesis on them. Stop! Stop! Anyway, that was my quick aside about the Beatles. That was why I was so emotional about it. It was just everything that was happening yesterday compounded with the history that I have with the Beatles, essentially. And it all hit very close to home, so... Felt like sharing. Boy. This dog is causing troubles in this here camper. You causing troubles? You causing trouble, Danny? You causing troubles?